Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Morgan, and today I wanted to do my long-awaited Maisie update. I have been getting so many messages and comments on any of my videos asking for an update on Maisie and having people with like crazy theories saying, oh, you haven't made a video so you got rid of her, like what a horrible dog owner you are. I did not get rid of Maisie. She is just thriving. She's in the backyard playing right now. This YouTube channel isn't a Maisie channel, so I was gonna wait until she was 1 to do this update and then probably just do one update a year after that. If you want to keep up with her, you can follow me on Instagram. I share Maisie videos on my story every single day, like multiple times a day, more often than not. So if you want daily updates, you can follow me there. Otherwise, this channel will probably have 1 or 2 updates a year, but I'm giving you this one a month early. She's 11 months as of a few days ago, and she will be a full year, 12 months on November 6th. She is about 115 pounds now. That is a guesstimate because I can no longer weigh her. I used to weigh her by lifting her and then stepping on the scale and then subtracting my weight from the weight of the two of us. I can't lift her anymore just because she's such like an awkward shape and doesn't like being lifted, so she'll fight me. And yeah, so the last time she went to the vet, she was about 100 pounds and that was a few months ago. So 115 is just my best guess, which makes me happy. At her last visit, the vet said she is at a beautiful, like healthy weight for her age and her bone structure, which is great. You know, how they kind of handle your dog up and down to feel like their ribs and all of that. He said her weight's awesome, which made me feel really good. If you have a giant dog breed, you probably can relate to the stress that comes with them getting bigger and gaining weight, because if you let your giant breed dog get to an unhealthy weight, you could literally be taking years off their already kind of short life because it puts a lot of extra strain on their hips and their knees, and giant breeds are so prone to like hip dysplasia and joint problems that just send their quality of life down the toilet, basically. So keeping her at a healthy weight is so important to us. And we do that by being careful with her feedings, being so careful with treats, and making sure she gets exercise every single day. So feedings, she is on a kibble diet, but we use a high quality kibble and we use the vet recommended amount of food every day. And she has to work for her food. We don't just put it in a bowl. We either train for it, so go through like just easy drills, like here, come, sit, stay, and give her 5 or 6 pieces as a reward. Some people think this is cruel. It's actually recommended by trainers because dogs like having to work for a reward. It's kind of like humans like kind of the, what word am I looking for? They take pride in earning. So dogs take pride in earning just the way humans do. How you might be proud of the job you work, the dog's gonna be proud, like, look at, I did what my, mom told me to do and now I get kibble. And they'll puff out their little chests and be happy. If we don't have time to train for every meal, which we don't, we put it in one of those rocker Kongs. It's not like the rubber ones, it's the hard plastic that she has to knock around the yard and sniff and pick the pieces up. A lot of experts recommend making your dog work for their food for a few reasons. She's a giant breed. Again, I'm going to keep saying that because you do have to consider more with giant breeds just because they're at risk of so much, which is so sad. She's a giant breed, so her risk of bloat is increased. Big dogs just get bloat easier, so you don't want her eating too fast. And when we used to put food in a bowl for her, it would be gone in 20 seconds. So that always made me worried. So the slow feeder was the next step, and she mastered that and was able to finish that in 45 seconds. And then our dog trainer was like, you need to like be making your dog train for her food. You can't just give it to her because she needs food motivation and she needs to understand that to get what she wants, she has to give you what you want. So as a little segue, we make her train for a lot of things. Like to come inside, she has to sit before we let her inside. If she wants to play tug, I'll make her sit before we start playing tug. It's a good way to get your dog to respect you and realize, hey, this person's gonna do what I want as long as I do what they want too. And it's like a mutually respectable relationship with your dog. That's just a little aside though. So we either feed her training or with her slow feeding Kong. As for exercise, I myself can no longer take her on walks alone. She is stronger than I am, and I'm gonna go more into this later, but she's become a bit reactive to other dogs. So for my safety, for her safety, and for the safety of anyone else walking their dogs, I'm just not strong enough to take that on alone. And before I say anything else, she's not aggressive or mean to other dogs. She just barks like crazy and wants to run up to them and sniff them. She's never hurt another dog. I really don't think she ever would hurt another dog, but she is so big that her bark sounds aggressive and mean. There's no other way to put it. Her bark is just naturally like deep. It sounds like a man dog, like whoa. Like, even though as soon as she gets to the dog, she's like wiggling her little butt and in her puppy pose and so happy and ready to play. But she could easily drag me. She is getting so much better at not jumping, but when she gets overstimulated the way she does when she sees other dogs, I don't trust her not to jump on another dog owner. But I can't walk her by myself. That was a long spiel to say that. So either Garrett goes on walks with her, or we have a huge backyard and it's fenced in. I feel super fortunate for that. We actually wouldn't have gotten her if we didn't have the big old fenced in yard. It's on a double lot. So her and I will run to the end of the yard and back 25 times. For some reason, she really likes it. It's good for me because I'm getting my exercise in. And it's just a good way to make sure she's getting what she needs. We also play fetch. If I don't feel well enough to run, I have a few health issues that make some days running really, really difficult. And we will play fetch until, again, she stops. And she takes that seriously. She will go barreling down the yard for a ball. It was so funny when she was younger. We would have my brother and his fiance's dogs over and play, and she was so unathletic and clumsy and still growing into herself. They would be to the end of the yard and back with the ball, and she's still like trotting halfway there, but now she can keep up. She's a fast gal now, which makes me happy to see her kind of growing into herself and getting some confidence in her abilities to do dog things like chasing balls. So those are like, if we can't take her on a walk, because Garrett is a full-time worker and a full-time doctorate student, some days he's too busy to walk her, but she gets adequate adventure time and playtime and exercise time out in the yard. There will not be a day that goes by without me making sure she gets the exercise she needs, because that's just important to me. It's important when giant breed dogs like St. Bernards are puppies to build up the muscle mass to help better support their joints and their hips, just because they are so prone to joint problems and hip dysplasia. So she gets exercised every day, even if it can't be like the stereotypical dog walk. Her favorite form of exercise is playing tug. She would play tug from the time she wakes up, from the time she goes to sleep, without exaggeration. I really think she would, which is good, I guess, but it is tiring, and my shoulders have just been constantly in pain since we got her, basically. She will not play tug if it's not with a person. We have tried making contraptions where she could play tug with herself, and she will not have it. It has to be somebody on the other end of the rope. So that's actually really good for her muscles, though. So that's why I sacrifice my shoulder health. I'll have joint problems so she doesn't have them. Tug's her favorite game, and we probably only play tug for half an hour total a day, 3 or 4 spurts of 10 minutes or so, because I honestly just can't do it for longer than that. I need to rest my poor little shoulders. Garrett is better at it than I am. He can last for longer. He'll play with her for like 15 or 20 minutes, and she's not bored at the end of that. She wants to keep going, but we are only human, and we are not as athletic as she is. Going on to her reactivity, that makes me really sad. I get emotional, like even just thinking about it, because she loves other dogs so much. Her dream world would be to meet like just 100 new dogs and 100 new people every single day. She is our outgoing little social butterfly, but for some reason, until she can be this close to another dog, she is going to be barking her booty off, and it sounds so scary and so intimidating. It started in June. It was like June 10th. We were at the dog park. I was going to say which one, but none of you guys would know. It's over in Moline. We were at a dog park in Moline, Illinois, and she got charged, rolled, and pinned by a Great Dane, who was also a puppy, but a bigger, older puppy than her. I have no fault to the Great Dane or her owners. It's just part of the story. So a big old dog. It's actually the first dog that she's ever really seen that was bigger than her, and immediately took her down, which caused her reactivity. She was a changed dog after that. She used to just get excited and pull towards other dogs, but not like barking or lunging. She just tried to pull you in that direction. Now, if she sees another dog, it's immediately like, oh, unless it's a dog she knows. But any new dog, she will go crazy towards, until she actually is to the point where she can sniff them. And then she's happy. She's calm. She's in her little puppy pose. She's wagging her tail and ready to play. But because she pulls so hard and because she sounds so intimidating, it is a problem because people don't know that she's a nice dog because she does not sound like a nice dog. So we can't take her to the dog park anymore, which the more I've learned about dog parks and the more I've read about all of the risks that come with taking your dog to the dog park, I don't think I want that for her anymore. But it did make me sad because when we got her, I had all of these little daydreams of taking her to the dog park and seeing her frolic and play with other dogs. Now I feel more comfortable having her play with dogs she knows. But yeah, she's reactive to other dogs, and luckily it's just a verbal reaction. There's no physical reaction. She is honestly just the nicest little gal you've ever seen in your life. She's so sweet, so like just playful and wonderful. So I feel blessed about that because some dogs get like pinned like that and they become like aggressively reactive to other dogs where they're gonna bite, they're gonna hurt them because they're afraid. A lot of reactivity comes from fear and intimidation. So basically what the trainer said was Maisie is trying to show like, hey, I'm tough, I'm tougher than you, don't beat me up because if you beat me up, I can beat you up type thing. So that's why she's barking and like putting on like a big show. She's all bark, no bite, you know, that's what they say. Just trying to like assert herself as the dominant one. Like, don't mess with me, like I'm tough, let's play, but you're gonna play nice, is what she's trying to say when she's barking. But to any human who doesn't understand that, and I didn't understand that at first, it sounds like she's ready to like rip their throat out or something. Like, it is not nice. So that's, yeah, definitely unfortunate. She does go to dog boarding to play with other dogs under the supervision of like certified dog trainer. We do weekend boarding about once a month, give or take, depending on our schedules and depending on our budgets, because it's not cheap, but it does make a difference, and hopefully it will really, really help with her reactivity because she does love other dogs so much, and I don't want her to have to live out her days only playing with familiar dogs and taking, you know, weeks at a time to socialize her to a new dog. It'd be great if she could just be like happy to see them the way she used to be. Yeah, so we'll see. Her training is going well. It's not formal training anymore. Ever since COVID hit, she stopped going to her actual classes, but Garrett and I have done a good job continuing training at home and taking her again to those board weekends. And as a side note, these train and board weekends are not like the abusive ones. I know there are so many programs where they do negative reinforcement training for dogs, and I would never send Maisie there. Everything this trainer does is positive. You know, treats and yes and good jobs. If she does something naughty, it's no. That's important to train your dog to respond to the word no instead of having to physically punish them, which some people think is okay without having to, you know, throw them in timeout, things like that. Just as a side note, when I say the boarding weekends, I don't want anyone to think we're sending Maisie anywhere where they would be mean to her, because that's not the case at all. Now that I've cleared that up, yeah, training is going well. She is such a good little listener most of the time. The only time she really doesn't listen is if she's overstimulated, which she is a puppy. I would not expect her to listen perfectly when there's a bunch of stimulation going on around her. Or if she's just had a meal. She doesn't always listen because she's just happy and full and content doing what she wants to do. So for about half an hour after her meals, she's not the best listener. But if she has even an ounce of hunger, on the off chance we're going to reward her for listening with a treat, she will listen to us, which is good. So when she does listen to us, we either reward with yes, we've used that instead of a clicker. Some people do a clicker. She does get treats sometimes. Again, we are definitely wanting to manage her weight, so she doesn't get a ton of treats. And we also reward her with just like lots of love and pets and good job, just positive reinforcement. So she does, God, I don't even know how many things she does. Sit, stay, here, come, lay down, high five. She does high five other hand. She knows to switch hands. She does more. She's not great at drop it. She is if she doesn't have like the motivation to like play tug or something. But if she's playing tug, it's important and you want to teach your dog, drop it and then reward them by letting them play again. She does not do that. I've watched like 80 YouTube videos on how to get her to do that, and we have like a 5% success rate. But if it's anything that's not to play tug, she will drop it. She'll do leave it. She does let's go, which means follow me. She does look, and we'll do sustained eye contact. We work really hard on that one because it's important to demand your dog's attention and have them just naturally focus on you, because that eliminates a lot of risks. Like if you're taking them out on walks, they're not going to notice things to react to if they're just focused on you. So I don't trust that well enough to still, like I said, walk her on my own because she is so much stronger than I am. But it's an important tool in getting to that point where I can walk her on my own again. Some commands I just expect her to do without giving her treats for it. But for the really important ones that I want to drive home, she always gets a little treat. Sometimes it's just a piece of her kibble. Sometimes it's a higher value treat. We're working on her recall. I'd say she has like 60% recall success, which is, again, good for her age. I think I always forget that she's still a puppy because she's so big, so I want her to be perfect, but that's unreasonable to ask, for an 11-month-old dog to be perfect there. But she recalls really well, because I would never have her in a situation where it was like dangerous if she couldn't recall. But it is nice to know that if I say, Maisie, come here, that she's gonna come. And yeah, 60% of the time. And again, when she doesn't do it is when she's overstimulated or just like feeling really playful. So I don't fault her for that because she is still a baby and she's still learning. She's on track to be such a good dog, and it just fills my heart with joy, like seeing the progress she's making. Her favorite things, she loves having her chest scratched, but not her belly. It has to be like right under her neck. She likes her little cheekies scratched and behind her ears. Her ears, if anyone has tips, I'm not exaggerating when I say overnight she'll get mats. So I brush her ears every morning and I have to trim the little mats out. That's one of my biggest struggles with her. She hasn't had a hot spot yet, which, reading all the St. Bernard forums before I got her, I thought hot spots were gonna be like a big part of our life, and they aren't, luckily. We haven't taken her to get groomed since June because now that it's warm out, we can just do it at home, like with the hose, and that's actually really fun. I like doing it, and I think she does too. It gives her the zoomies. We will take her back to the groomer probably 3 times from November until April, just to freshen her up. When we take her to the groomers, they do her nails, which I can do at home, but I cut her once, so it gives me such anxiety because I don't want to hurt my baby, She has mostly white nails, but a few black ones, and it was one of the black ones that I caused to bleed because I just couldn't see the quick, and I guesstimated I was wrong, and I felt like the world's worst mom. So when we take her to get groomed, she gets her nails done. They just do like a shampoo for like her sensitive skin. St. Bernards do have kind of more sensitive skin, so make sure you have a groomer who's familiar with the unique needs of your St. Bernard. She got a sanitary trim once, and really it made her unhappy, so we didn't do that again because she doesn't have too big of an issue down there with hygiene. I'm trying to think what else they do. I know they do more. It's like the blow dry shampoo, and they do like blueberry facials. I don't even know what that means. And brush her little teeth. I don't even know what else to say about her. She is such a loving, good girl. She doesn't have free access in the house. I guess that's something to mention. She's kennel trained, which I think is so important for dogs. If you aren't kennel training your dog, and God forbid something happens where they have to stay overnight in the vet, they're going to be so much more anxious in an already anxiety-inducing situation being locked in a kennel because it's something they haven't experienced very often. She sleeps in the kennel every single night, and she's happy to be in there because we've properly kennel trained her. So the kennel is a positive place in her eyes. It's kind of like giving a child their own bedroom. So we've kennel trained her, and she knows that that's where she is safe, where she gets loves and treats, and it's all good things. We don't punish her by putting her in the kennel. The kennel is just positive for her. So she's kennel trained, and she sleeps in there overnight. And if we are running errands, she's kenneled as well, because here's the thing with Maisie. She is nice to her cats, but she, for some reason, wants to lay on them. And she's over 100 pounds, and they are not. So I think she could easily smother them, like literally smother them with her love. And that would just be a horrible thing to come home to. So right now, she's not trusted alone with the cats. I'm hoping that changes in the next 6 months. She's never kenneled for more than a couple hours. I work from home, so all day she's got free range to kind of be the boss. I do kennel her for her enforced naps, and that's it. We are very careful and intentional with our planning of our lives to make sure she is that we're being fair to her. She didn't ask to be brought into our family, into our home. we just kind of abducted her basically from her perspective. So we want to give her the best life possible and not have her, you know, kenneled all the time, while also using the kennel as a good management tool. I'm trying to think, I don't really think there's anything else to say. She's the happiest, best girl. She loves playing, which I love. She's also already kind of a lazy gal, which at 11 months, I'm like, you're too young to be this lazy, like be a puppy. But that's common. The bigger the dog, the easier they get tired because they're lugging around all these extra pounds. So if you have any questions, I'll answer them down below. I hope this was helpful. It was just kind of a stream of consciousness description of what's going on with Miss Maisie. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, follow me on Instagram right here at Timm if you want daily Maisie updates. So I will be back soon with another video. Bye!